Nick Wright, First Things First co-host, joining us now. He knows what a nerd I am. He knows I'm into this stuff. It is what it is. Well, whatever. Okay, OBJ. Adam Schefter says Ravens want him. Do you think it's a good fit?
Well, no. I mean, if I were not for Odell, I don't think Lamar's playing ever again for the Ravens.
Wow.
So if I'm Odell, I want to go somewhere where for the first time in my career, I can start a season with a great quarterback. Eli might be in the Hall of Fame one day. He was not a great quarterback when Odell was there. Obviously, even though I like Baker maybe a touch more than you, he wasn't a great quarterback. When he got with Stafford, who you like a little more than I do, it was excellent. But again, that was kind of a shotgun marriage. So I would want to go play with a great quarterback. I would want to, once again, have an opportunity to prove my value to the league. And let me just be honest, Colin, I'd sign with the Chiefs. What are we talking about here? Juju Smith-Schuster signed with the Chiefs for $3.7 million. He made $9.5 million because he had $6 million of incentives. And then he signed for $33 million with the Patriots. If you're Odell, is there any other true contender in football, Colin, where Odell would be the number one wide receiver? I argue no. Every other true contender has a number one receiver that's better than Odell at this point in his career. The Chiefs do not. So if I were Odell, I would wait patiently, and the only way I would consider the Ravens is if Lamar gets locked up, but I do not think Lamar Jackson is playing another down of football for Baltimore.
Wow. So the NBA and their collective bargaining is doing something I had suggested, which is make players stars. If they're going to win awards, have to play a higher percentage of games. Allow for an injury. You get an oblique, you twist an ankle. Do you like kind of a remedy for load management? Do you like it?
I like this adjustment to the CBA, and you were right. Now, I think if I remember correctly, it's an 82-game season. I think you wanted guys to have to play 81 and a half games to be eligible for the awards. So I do think this is maybe a more fair way to do it. I think it's smart, and because the load management had become an epidemic for the fans. There is something about the new CBA, as details have leaked out, that I absolutely hate. Even though I think it is only me and Bill Simmons that actually care about it. But you're friends with both of us, so let me tell you. Going positionless on the All-NBA team will be a blight on the NBA's record book. The All-NBA team is an important snapshot to look at, and this is a point Simmons has made and I have made repeatedly, who was the best at that spot. So in the 60s, it's like Wilt Russell. There's only one center spot available. Who was the best? For 12 years in the NBA, LeBron had one of the forward spots locked up. So who was the second best forward in basketball that season? Look at the All-NBA team. Going straight positionless on it, I hate for the record books. I think what they should have done was go with positions for the first and second team All-NBA, and then for the third team, you could just say who are the 5 best guys who didn't make it. But I don't know how much people care about that. I care about it intensely. I think the 65-game thing is smart. I think the rest of it, we have to really see the in-season tournament. We don't have the full details on. But I understand what they're trying to do, which is add import to the regular season.
Right.
Which, by the way, will be ruined. No one will ever take the regular season seriously again if your beloved Warriors win the title. Because if Andrew Wiggins can just be gone for 2 months, the Warriors can be 2-20 on the road against 500 teams and then go win the title, then why would anyone care about the regular season ever again? I would argue it is important for the health of the NBA that the Warriors get bounced in round 1, and it's like, oh, Sleepwalking for 5 months, there is a penalty for that. And so I know that would hurt your feelings because, you're good friends with many members of that team in front office, I'm sure. But it would be bad for the league, Colin.
By the way, if Travis Kelce misses 14 starts but comes back late and they win the Super Bowl, I'm sure you'll have the same energy.
Okay, hold on a second here. Wait a second. First of all, I don't know that we should be comparing Andrew Wiggins to Travis Kelce. But second of all, what I am saying is that we already have – there is already an epidemic of people say the regular season doesn't matter.
Right.
But what we do still have in the NBA is, aside from the 95 Rockets, no examples of teams going on the road throughout the entire postseason, having that bad of a regular season, and then winning the title. So it matters a little bit because the only teams who win titles are top 3 or 4 seeds. If the Warriors end up being the 7 seed and then flipping a switch and winning the title, which they can't do because they are not that good of a team this year, but still, then why would anyone care about the regular season moving forward? And so, yeah, it would be bad. Don't compare that to the dynastic Chiefs, Travis Kelce. Give me a break.
Okay, so generally, if you look at history, it'll tell you kind of a roadmap of what's going to happen now. So there is no history in the last couple of years of LeBron and AD staying healthy for a month in intense games. What they're doing now, though, is indisputable. Westbrook leaves, a lot of buy-in from role players and AD on the defensive end. They're a very good team. The other thing you have to realize is all 3 of their stars, LeBron, AD, and Reeves, create contact and get to the free throw line. Getting to the free throw line in the playoffs will create conspiracy theories, but a team like Phoenix doesn't because they're a settled-for jump shot team, Chris Paul, KD. Yeah. So there are things that are really captivating. They create contact, they get to the free throw line, they play real defense. Those work in the playoffs. But aren't you concerned with the reality of, you think they're going to go 4 series and not have an injury?
Okay, well, first of all, before I answer that question, you have to answer mine. Do you still want to trade AD for John Collins and Bogdan Bogdanovic, or should we let this thing play out? I'm just curious. I don't know. I don't know. We still trading Anthony Davis for Kristaps, Kyle Kuzma, and a future first? Or are we going to see if the only team in the league with 2 top 10 players can win the whole damn thing? Because I think they can. So you're right. The injury question looms massive. I understand that. But because there is no perfect team out west, what team doesn't have a massive question? And at least the injury one, I guess this would be the most generous reading of it. LeBron and AD both got their significant injuries already out of the way this year. I don't know. Obviously, that could derail them. But if they're healthy, Colin, no one's beating this team. Let me just give, again, for the audience, the quick history of the LeBron AD Lakers. They come together in the 2019-20 season. They are instantly the best team in basketball. The pandemic hits when they have the best record. Then they come back. They are still the best team in basketball in the bubble. And despite earning the 1 seed and deserving to have home games throughout, they have 0 home games, and they coast to the title. 5-game series, 5-game series, 5-game series, and then a 6-game series in the finals. The next year, they are the 1 seed in the West until Solomon Hill cartwheels into LeBron's ankle. LeBron misses 2 months, the season's derailed, and then AD gets hurt in the playoffs. And then Rob Pelinka, in his infinite wisdom, and I understand everyone blames LeBron for this, but Rob Pelinka is the GM, blows the entire team up, trades for Russ, and that season is dead on arrival.
Right.
This year, they run it back with Russ and still no shooting, and this season seems dead on arrival. And then finally, they make the move to create their best version of the team they originally had with LeBron and AD, and amazingly, they're immediately the best team in the Western Conference again. And so this Lakers team with AD playing like this, LeBron with his hand on the joystick, defenders and shooters, that model works. And in this year's Western Conference, I absolutely think they can make the finals, and then we'll see who comes out of the East and how, because the final 2 rounds of the East are going to be warfare, how beat up those teams are. I really like the Lakers' chances. I like them a lot. And it should be worth noted. At 38 years old, Michael Jordan was, below 500 for a Wizards team. In year 20, never sniffed that in the NBA.
That's true.
And, if LeBron James in year 20 sets the all-time scoring record and wins the title, I might retire. I might say my work here is done, America. I mean, I don't know what other argument there will be.
Well, it's one of the better ones, I would say this. Finally, in any business, probably ours, you have to manage yourself, right? You can hurt yourself sometimes, bad representation. You got a temper, you're hard to deal with. As much as I like Lamar, and with Burrow, Kenny Pickett, and Deshaun Watson, you should have a quarterback in that division. Is it a reasonable take? And one that's being suggested today is the last 8 quarterbacks outside of Mahomes we've paid a fortune to, things haven't worked out well, so there's a momentum against it. And secondly, he's become kind of odd. Some of this is not anti-Lamar. It's anti-momentum, anti-not ready. Finally, where do you kind of – because I think we both think Lamar makes the game more interesting. Outside of Mahomes, he beats most quarterbacks. Where are you this morning on him? Because there is a report. There's a lot of belief here, Nick. He'll never be a Raven again.
Well, listen, I don't think he'll be a Raven again, and that that is the fault of the Ravens. Everyone brings up the Deshaun Watson contract ruining everything. Lamar is the same draft class. Lamar was eligible for a contract a year before Deshaun ever got his deal. And Josh Allen got paid from that draft class, and Lamar did not. That was before there was the fully guaranteed deal, all of that. The Ravens could have gotten this done, and they didn't. That's on them. How this has gone, I do not think Lamar has done himself favors. I think there are a lot of pieces of this that where you recognize, or I wish he would recognize, you can't be great and an expert at everything. There is a reason that people who are elite at something usually hire people who are elite at other things to do that part of it.
Yep.
And I'm not just talking about the agent piece. He tweeted out, hey, go to my website to get the latest updates. And I don't mean to be rude, but that website is amateurish. The fact that all of his public statements have come via tweet or Instagram appears amateurish. The business thing that he's supposed to be in in one gym appears amateurish. He is not getting the best advice. He promised us a sit-down interview with his own production company. That interview has not happened yet. This is the most critical business part of his career. And I wish he had people that were experts in the business and messaging and PR of all of it. Because the NFL does, the teams do, and he's going up against a machine. And the last point I'll make on it is this, because some people have speculated he is trying to, break the dam, if you will, on guaranteed contracts. It is worth noting that folks that try to take a stand for the greater good or for other players, they often ultimately long-term are remembered fondly, and it also often greatly hurts them. This isn't Curt Flood, but Curt Flood did a great thing that he never benefited from. I would argue Colin Kaepernick did a great thing that he never benefited from. And I know these are different situations, but if Lamar is trying to say, I'm going to be the one to make sure quarterbacks get guaranteed deals, maybe you're going to help with that. But at the expense of what? When you're 26 years old and you're yet to make real money. Like NFL money, that is. So he's one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the league, so there should be a market for him. But I do not think he's gotten the greatest advice on this. I don't.
Yeah, I think your advice, there's a lot of wisdom there, is people that are great at stuff often know what they're not great at, and they hire great people to, cap or finalize things they're not. It's hard to be great at multiple things. And
right.
a great
unless you're Colin Cowherd, you want to run an NFL team. You run an NFL team, radio empire, own small business. Not every Lamar. All of us can't be Colin. I can just talk. You can throw a football.
Yeah.
There's very few that are going to have all these plates in the air.
Nick Wright, first things first. On Fire is a show. Join him in about an hour and a half. Good seeing you, buddy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.